Hello, this is Pete, or Kenshin1913, along with
Mom.
And this is another Cooking with Kenshin1913. And in honor of us going to Italy last year, I can't believe it's already been a year.
Yeah.
We're going to make a dish specifically from the area that we visited mostly. What is it?
Sicily.
And what are we making?
Pasta Norma.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Okay, so as far as ingredients, you're going to need eggplant, and you want them on the smaller side. Actually, in Sicily, they use a lot of eggplants, and they use the smaller ones. Sometimes you'll see them in the store that they'll say Italian eggplant. So in this case, bigger is not better.
Right.
Fresh tomatoes, onion, garlic.
Garlic. Come on, can you show the garlic? I can't see it in the bowl, but yeah, we got 3 cloves of garlic. I'll have all the ingredients on the thing.
Olive oil, salt, pepper, pasta, usually spaghetti, basil.
Yeah, we're gonna be using some frozen basil.
We happen to have some fresh frozen basil.
Right.
But if you could buy it in the store, the little plant. And then the last thing that you need is there's a cheese. Sometimes you can get it in your grocery store if they have a large cheese section, or you might need to go to like an Italian import store. And this is called Ricotta Salada. And it's a ricotta that is actually thick.
Yeah, it's a harder ricotta, and it's a ricotta.
And then you grate it.
And also it's salty too, obviously. But if you can't use that, I don't know, maybe you can look for like a hard ricotta, I guess. I'm not exactly sure what a good substitute is. I will let you know in the video description or at the end of the video.
Now, one of the first things we're going to want to do is we're going to cut our eggplant up into cubes.
Right.
We're going to put it in cold water, salted cold water.
For at least a half an hour, at least.
Or up to an hour.
Yes.
And that takes the bitterness out of the eggplant.
Yeah, because I never liked eggplant, to be honest, before this recipe. Or when I went to Italy, I'm like, I don't like eggplant. But I have this new rule when I go out to eat somewhere, is usually if it's at someone's house and they are making it, I will try and eat it due to the fact that, someone literally, made it. So I'm not going to be like, ew, I'm not going to eat it unless it's fish. I'm not going to eat fish. Certain things I won't. But yeah, so eggplant, as you can see, my mom is, she is cubing. She's going to be cubing it up. And then what we're going to do, Ma, can you, I don't know if you can, there you go, perfect. Thank you. So yeah, she's just kind of cubing it up and making it little small bites. And so we're going to put this, we're going to finish cubing this, and we're going to put it in cold water. Salted cold water. Now, how much salt you're going to need? Honestly,
about a tablespoon.
Yeah, probably about a tablespoon, because it really does get rid of the bitterness that's inside the eggplant. Alright, as you can see, my mom has poured the water in. And now she's going to add her salt. Then we're going to leave it alone for at least a half hour. I tried doing this recipe where I just did it for 20 minutes. By the way, she is using sea salt. I tried to do this for, leave it for at least 20 minutes. It didn't work as well. The thing about eggplant, like we were mentioning, there is a bitterness to it. And there's also a, I don't want to say dirt-like quality. Like when you eat it, it kind of tastes like dirt. But sometimes it feels
for those of you who have eaten a lot of dirt.
Yeah, and I guess I had, because the last time I ate it and I didn't let this sit for a while, it tasted like dirt. So make sure to do this, then put it somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a little bit more water so that everything's submerged.
Yeah.
And then I'm just gonna put it to the side.
All right, the pan is hot enough. We're gonna throw in our onions. Well, I guess it's not really as hot as we would hope, but whatever. It's going to get hot and it's going to be delicious, is all I'm getting at. So what we're going to do is just let the onions
and the garlic kind of get translucent. Remember, do not burn your garlic. Okay, now I'm going to add some of the tomatoes, and I'm going to keep cutting the rest. This tastes absolutely delicious with your native tomatoes in the summertime. Of course, we don't have any here, but when we were in Sicily, you can get native tomatoes all the time.
Yep, and you're just going to cook it, and once we get some more tomatoes in, we'll salt it up.
And if you don't have, if you don't want to get regular tomatoes, you can actually use the ones in the can, the whole tomatoes, and then just cut them up.
Yeah. All right, we cooked, or we're cooking the tomatoes and the onions and the garlic, and now we're going to add ourselves some salt. Just a bit of salt as we cook our recipe here. And yeah, you could add some pepper if you want. That's what we're going to do.
If you like it hot, you could actually add red pepper flakes.
So yeah, you want to just cook this until like some of the juice from the tomatoes is gone. And we're actually going to throw in some basil in a few minutes. But for this recipe, you're going to use a lot of basil. So you can even throw in the juice of that if you want. You can even throw in the tomato juice that you have from cutting up the tomatoes. It's fine. Because what we're going to do is we're going to do a nice little trick here and use an immersion blender to roughly crunch all this stuff up once we're done here. All right, so now my mom is slicing up some of the basil. It's frozen fresh, so it is fresh.
Yes, it smells very nice.
Yes. So we're going to throw that in.
The fresh one, of course, is just beautiful, and you just need to shred it with your fingers.
So we're going to throw this in as well. And like I said, you're just going to let it cook for like about 10 minutes or so until you start to see some of that liquid. You see on the bottom there? Some of the liquid is going to start to evaporate, and that's when we're going to blend it.
Okay, as you can see, all the juice is gone.
Or most of it, yeah. And now we're going to actually, so they tell you can, for this recipe, you can use a sieve.
A sieve. So, you know, one of the, it's a strainer with a very fine holes in it.
Right.
You could take this and like just kind of mash it through.
Or you could even use a grinder like my mom used for the chichis and rice. But
we have an immersion blender, so we're going to use that.
And you just want to munch everything up to make it a delightful sauce. And yeah, once you're done with this, you're pretty much going to let it sit with some olive oil and let it do its thing. Yeah, you don't want to really crunch everything up like into a paste or whatever. Just everything just kind of mix it together like that. And since we're using a non-stick pan, you gotta be very careful. Also, I would be very careful just because you don't want anything to splatter up at you.
Okay, so this is the cheese that Pete grated. That block you can see.
Yeah, it's kind of, you want to give it a taste? It's kind of like a salty ricotta, and it's like hard cheese. It's pretty good.
It's almost like, you're right, Pete, like a feta.
Right. So, we were discussing maybe you could probably, let's talk about the cheese really quick before we do this. So, we were discussing that you can get this at Whole Foods or Trader Joe's. And yeah, it's just this like a salty, hard ricotta, and honestly, a substitute, maybe feta, maybe. Yeah,
that would be like, you know, at some point if you wanted to, we wanted to try a little bit on some.
Yeah, maybe
so this mixture, we're just going to add a little bit more of olive oil
and mix it up, or just leave it alone and just kind of let it do its thing. At this point,
and as you can see, it's kind of chunky. See?
Yeah, you want that consistency because that's good stuff right there. And then at this point, you're gonna want to get your water boiling for the pasta. And I think we're almost at a half hour for the eggplant. And then we'll show you what we got to do with that. All right, now we're gonna show you what you got to do with the eggplant.
So what I did is I poured it in my strainer, and then I put it inside something so it keeps draining.
Right. And now we just got to pat it down a little bit. Because what we're going to do is we're going to fry it up.
So we're going to can you see it dripping?
Yeah. See the water? Just dripping out. You want to take it, just pat it and squeeze it, or whatever.
What you could do is you could take a cookie sheet and line it with some paper towel.
Yeah. And
then, you know, let it pat.
Yeah, because the thing about this is, as most people know, water and oil don't mix. And honestly, I've been reading a book about cooking, and it says that when you put in wet stuff in oil, it uses more energy to actually evaporate the water than actually cook the food. So that's something interesting to know. So what we're probably going to do is cook these for about 5-10 minutes until they get a little brown, a little mouchade. We're going to salt them up a little bit, and we're just going to cook them until they're a little bit tender, pretty much. That's the word.
This dish we had everywhere.
Almost every place we went to in Sicily.
It's really like a #1, and it's really kind of a peasant dish.
Yeah. One of the things I want to mention about the eggplant, and you can probably see a little bit if I zoom in a little bit here. Some of them have seeds in them. They actually have eggplants that I guess don't have seeds. I forget what the name of it is. It starts with an A. Do you have any idea? No, it's a seedless eggplant. And what you can do is you can get that, and you can use that in case you don't like seeds. But yeah, we let it strain for about a half hour, and
sit in the water.
Yeah, sit in the water for about a half hour. I apologize. As you can see, also the water is boiling away. So season that with a little salt. Put in your pasta. Let that cook till al dente. Pretty much will be done around the same time the eggplant's done. So as you can see, my mom just salted the eggplant. And like I said, you just want to cook them. Probably should have used a bigger pan. But, yeah. So, you just want to maybe need more oil. You just want to cook them until they're tender. And they will shrink a little bit, too. Alright, so these eggplants are just about ready, right, Mom?
Yeah, they're getting soft. Some of them are a little brown. A few more minutes. And as you can see, I changed my pan because it was too small. Because you want to let them have an area to cook.
Yeah. So my dad is here. He wants to tell us a little bit about the history of Pasta Norma. You can stay behind the camera if you'd like. Go ahead.
Pasta Norma, it's they call them like that because in honor of Bellini. Bellini is from Catania. He wrote that Alla Norma, and that's where this dish is from Sicily, Maine, around Catania. But they do them all over Sicily.
Yeah.
And that's named for to honor him, because Norma is a famous pasta.
Right, and Catania is a city in Sicily, in case you didn't know. But yeah, there you go. There's our Italian history minute, I guess. Thank you. So yeah, these only need these things only need about another minute or two. Then we can throw them right into the sauce.
And we found out the name of the eggplant that has no seeds. It's aubergine.
Aubergine. Alright, so our eggplant is looking pretty good. Now we're going to transfer that into our saucepan here. Be very careful when you do this, because it is quite hot. And yeah, you're just going to do that. Honestly, if you want my opinion, and for some reason you're not a huge eggplant fan and you don't like, I don't know, maybe it's the consistency, I wouldn't be against immersion blending even the eggplant in there a little bit, but you want to keep some of that. And yeah, we're just gonna throw the rest of this in, as you can see, and then we're gonna warm it back up with some of the cheese and put the cheese in.
Okay, we're mixing this around.
Yep.
Have it back on to warm up a little bit.
Yep. And what we need to do now is just throw in our sauce is pretty much done. If you need to, salt and pepper to taste at this point. Ma, if you want to do us the honors of throwing in some of that cheese. So we got our ricotta salada, and we're just putting it in. That is, from what my dad said, is also a dish directly from
A cheese, yeah.
a cheese directly from Sicily. And you just gotta let that mix in together like that. And pretty much done. We're almost done now. All we need to do is put the pasta in. Alright, we have just put in our pasta. And we
Can
might
I
need
have a
tongs, please. So what you can do is now we're going to top this. Not only are we going to mix this around, we're going to actually add some more basil, and if you want, olive oil, and What else was in there? Salt and pepper, obviously. We already did that. What else? I forget. Alright, so another thing you can actually add is you can add some Parmigiano Reggiano on the top if you'd like. Or Pecorino Romano. It's Pecorino. So yeah, this is our pasta Norma from Sicily. Looks lovely.
Okay.
Alright, so my mom is just ripping up some more fresh basil. Put on top, and we'll mix it up. And that's it, really. Okay, so here is our pasta Norma. As you can see, you got yourself eggplant and the tomatoes, the fresh basil, the cheese, everything's delicious. So I'm going to try and grab just about everything here, if I can. And the old twirl. What the hell? But yeah, so if you can ever get a chance to go to Sicily, I would highly suggest it because it's a terrific place to visit. It's like I'm back there now. Man, you did a great job. This has been really, really good. Holy shit, this is good. And yeah, it's just a terrific little recipe. It does take a little long to do with the eggplant, but it's totally worth it. What do you think, Mom? You want to try some, or you got anything to say?
No.
But yeah.
I'm glad you enjoy it.
Yeah, so I've been Pete, or Kenshin1913, along with
Mom.
And this has been another Cooking with Kenshin1913.
Enjoy and happy eating.